including those reaching to us through Smart Bilal, YouTube, Facebook, Radio 1584, and all Medina media platforms. Today's lecture at Masjid al-Haq at the entrance of Lodium, Pretoria, Republic of South Africa, is in commemoration of Al-Quds Day, the last Friday of the month of Ramadan. And today's talk is in solidarity with the oppressed Palestinians against apartheid Zionist Israel. And the talk will be given by Mohammed Selo, who is a South African-born Muslim activist, and he's a multiple traveler and a journalist to Al-Quds, and he's a specialist documentarian on occupied Palestine. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. When I was asked to give this talk, I had to go through volumes and volumes of books, and some it was about advertising, to understand how products are positioned in the market and how they are packaged also. And also I have to look at other books on seduction, and how people are seduced to do certain things. And I kept on reading, exploring. As a result, I came across also how to analyze intelligence analysis. How do we reach conclusions as individuals? And one of the things which came up is our judgment is affected by our assumptions, by our perceptions, but also our expectations. So we draw conclusions based on those three phases. As a result, we tend to misdiagnose our situation, hence it becomes difficult for us to deal with our problems. So, and there is this thing also, because I'll be more reflecting than anything else. There is a statement in Afrikaans, and normally it is said by the Tsotsis. And they say, "Amuhu es amuhu met alse futes." It doesn't matter what does a fool have, it's still a fool. And even if you can give that fool or amuhu all the tools of social change, he or she will act contrary to those tools. A typical example, Muslims were given two things. One, the Quran, and secondly, the Quran. And obviously, one may think that I would say the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. No. Allah says in this holy book, our Prophet was the living Quran. So meaning, the Sunnah, what we call the Sunnah of the Prophet, is the manifestation of the Quran. So therefore, if you want to follow the Prophet ﷺ, you have to go to the Quran, because of that's the software of the Sunnah. And which reminded me of one interesting personality who happened to be, and he was the Gladstone, who was the member of the British Parliament, who said, so long as the Muslims are following this book referring to the Quran, we will never succeed with our policies of colonization. As a result, we have to focus on their differences, on trivial things about Muslims. As a result, they won't have time to entertain the criteria of judging between wrong and right. And one of the things which I want Muslims to explore, let us not forget who came with the idea of Al-Quds. Interestingly, Ayatollah Khomeini had to go in exile in France. Now we ask ourselves a question, where were Muslim countries? Why he chose a Western country as opposed to a Muslim country. Why he chose France as opposed to other Muslim countries who were there. And of which it reminded me of my experience in Gaza. I was going to shoot a documentary film in Gaza. So between Cairo and Rafah border, what was interesting for me is you will come across checkpoints upon checkpoints. Then I asked myself a question. Are Palestinians and Egyptians Muslims? Are Palestinians and Egyptians Muslims? That was the question which came into me. If there are checkpoints between Rafah border, which goes into Palestine, in Egypt, then we have to get worried that who is the enemy of the Palestinians, or who is the enemy of the Egyptians? Is it the Palestinians or vice versa? And for me, it raises the question, if we look at ourselves because of those checkpoints, we have to ask ourselves this question: what is our checkpoint? What is that which we use as a reference which stops us from doing things? What is your checkpoint? What limits you from manifesting or actualizing the teachings of Islam? Now, that was the first trip. The second trip, I had to go to West Bank. I was with the Tripartite Alliance, ANC, COSATU, and SACP. And now, one of the delegates which I was traveling with happened to be one of those people who were in exile in Tanzania. And we were hosted by the Palestinians. And the dish which was served on that day, it was beans, you know. Now, when this guy saw those beans on the table, he snapped. He started fighting. Till everyone talked to him and he couldn't, they managed to pull him down. Then when we started to probe and interrogate, we discovered that this guy is part of those who were in the camps in Tanzania, the MK guys. But now, when we talk about the oppressed, we hardly look at the consequences of oppression to the oppressed. Psychologically, how are they wired? Now, this guy, it reminded him of the pain which they went through when they were in Tanzania in the camps. And then most of the time, we don't even talk about that those who went to exile, most of them, they were staying in the camps of those countries. They were not part of the society in those environments. And now I ask myself a question. How many of those guys of MK who are part and parcel of their society? And what is happening in their minds? And bear in mind, some of them, their fathers, some of them, their grandfathers. Therefore, we ask a question: what kind of kids are they raising with that pain which they are carrying? And we have to talk about it. And I had an opportunity also to travel with one of the cadres who happened to be, who was also one of the MK guys. I was talking to him. Then he said to me, you know, Selo, most of us died. Most of us died and we were killed by our own comrades. Now we can prosper. Now the question arises, where is the enemy? The enemy is always inside. Let us check ourselves. We'll start to realize that the enemy is within ourselves. And most of our complaints, they emanate from our own enemy within the Muslim community, within the oppressed. And then one of the things which shocked me in Gaza was a house which was bombed, which we were told that this house belongs to one of the Hamas leaders. Imagine, obviously, within Gaza, there are no Jewish settlers. But how did they know that this Palestinian leader is staying in that house, except if they didn't have one of us within their ranks? So if we look around, we can see that everyone wants to be part of the oppressed. Because it's nice to be among the oppressed, isn't it? You get what you want. Hence, you find that Muslims, they are subjected to pain and despair. It's time. But now, I want us to go to Surah Bani Israel, verse 82, which says, we set down in stage by stage in the Quran that which is healing. Now, let us look at the pain which exists within the Muslim, because of they were wired around pain, around fighting, around always we are at the receiving end. We are fighting, we are protecting, but we don't have time even to experience the beauty of this message. Now, it talks about the healing there, but also it goes further on saying, a mercy to those who have Iman. This Quran. It's a mercy to those who have Quran. But now, as it concludes that part, it says, to the unjust, it causes nothing but loss upon loss. Then we ask a question, why are the Muslims the ones who are experiencing loss upon loss, despite hearing this book? Why are we the ones who are experiencing loss? Who is unjust now? Because of the unjust, they don't experience loss. We see loss being experienced by the Muslims. So let's ask ourselves the question, are we the ones who are unjust to ourselves? That's the question. And also, the Quran says to us, and also remember, our seven, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, men of strength and vision. Do we have vision? Do we know where we want to go? Verily, we endow them with sincerity of purpose, with exceptional foresight. This is the Quran. Hence, in all their efforts, they never lost sight of their desired destination. So, implied, all our solutions are embedded in this book, and our enemies are within. So, therefore, let us even check ourselves whether we are those enemies collectively. And all that not because of time, but this is the honestly I would just to you. This time is haram.
Yeah, Mohammed Selo, unfortunately or fortunately, the Musalis of this masjid are very time conscious. You're very, very strict with time. Anyway, just to remind ourselves of the Eid Salah program at this masjid, inshallah. So the following is going to be our program on Eid's day, inshallah. The program will start from Fajr. Start off with the Fajr Azan, which will be at 5:30. Now remember, this Fajr Azan and Fajr Salah is only exclusive for the day of Eid, inshallah. It will change after Eid. But the Azan will be at 5:30 and the Salah will be at 5:45. And then after that, there will be a small break, few minutes, and then we'll start our first takbir. The takbir will be started at 6:15, inshallah, which will be led by Sayyid Wardi from Casablanca, Morocco. And then the takbir will proceed until 6:30, which will be a lecture. 6:30 will begin with our lecture, inshallah, which will be given by Dr. Sori Ibrahim, HS, an alim and a medical doctor at 6:30, inshallah. 15 minutes after that, that will be at 6:45, we'll be having our salah, which will be led by Sheikh Bulu, Hafiz Bulu from Mogadishu, Somalia, and inshallah the concluding dua will be led by our Hafiz Sheikh Mohammed Ataya from Al-Azhar University, Cairo, Egypt. So briefly, this is the program that is going to be on each day at this masjid, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.